tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Our guests waiting to be profiled are author Jeanette Longoria and actress Michaela Watkins. We're going to go right into the interview with Jeanette Longoria now. Traces her roots from German wheat farmers in Kansas to San Antonio, where as a teenager she married and raised a family with Morris Jaffe. Then 20 years later, she raised another family in Mexico City with Chito Longoria. Now Jeanette, who was the first woman appointed honorary consul of Mexico by the King of Morocco, King Hassan, has written a book. It's a tell-all for women over 60 and how to live life to the fullest. The book is called Aphrodite and Me. Who is Aphrodite, Jeanette?
Well, Aphrodite was a goddess. They always think of her as the goddess of love, but she was really more than that. She was a defender of women, and she had a large family, and you know I can certainly relate to that.
Yes, you do. But everything's Aphrodite. How did you pick that name?
Well, it was just, you know, I guess subconsciously I've always been really interested. I don't know if you remember in Mexico City, I had a bathtub made in the shape of a shell.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and
I have a picture of that, I think.
But I wasn't thinking of Aphrodite at the time. It was just all of these things happened, and I just thought that I was always, you know, like subconsciously interested in her.
You made this shell, you made this one right here, the shell?
Yes.
Bathtub before you even were thinking of writing a book or Aphrodite or anything?
Way before. And I had someone sculpture a little small one like this, and then I sent it to Italy to be carved, and it was a white marble tub. And as you know, I'm no longer living in Mexico City.
And I've got the copy of the book right here, yes, because this is you in this wonderful dress and this headpiece, which we have on the set. Tell us about the headpiece and tell us where this photo was taken.
Well, first of all, I always thought that Aphrodite was born in Greece. And then I found out, I met the ambassador of Cyprus, and he sent over a lot of literature, and I was reading it, and I read that the Aphrodite was born on the beach in Cyprus. So I was so excited, nothing would do, but I had to go.
So how'd you get the headpiece? You took the headpiece to Cyprus with you?
Yes, I took the headpiece to Cyprus. My hairdresser, Carlos with a K in San Antonio, made the headdress for me. I told him that I wanted to have a beautiful headdress with pearls and seashells, and that's what he did. So I carried it all the way to Cyprus, and when I got there and we were going on the beach, my son-in-law was with me, and he took the photograph, Greg Hovis, that's on the cover. And he was with my daughter, and he said, "I hope your mother's not going to be naked." And then the ambassador wouldn't come with us because he was afraid of the same thing.
Well, I went to the same place in Cyprus.
Oh, you did?
And I walked in the water, but I wasn't dressed like you. And no one followed me with a camera. So you had a really great time.
Oh, we had a great time.
Why did you write this book?
Well, because I felt that she related to me in so many ways, and to women in general. Because, you know, being that she talks about her love life with Adonis, and how even though she would lounge around in her diaphanous gowns, that she would still, for him, put on her hunting clothes and go hunting. And so, you know, I think it teaches us a lot about how we should be, you know, with men.
The thing is, do you think this book is elitist because you've had such kind of a wonderful, wonderful social passed and you've lived all over, being the honorary consul to Morocco from Mexico. I remember going to your villa in Mexico, and you had this Moroccan room where we all sat on the floor and had a great time. Do you think this is an elitist book, or can everyone learn from this?
This is something everyone can learn from. And, you know, it's just like I'm planning a product line, because I have had the opportunity to go around the world and see beautiful things, that I really want to do a low-cost line that every woman can afford. I mean, you know, I just want things that everyone can afford. And now I have my daughter Jana, who designs, she's been designing bags for a long time. She's doing a line of Aphrodite bags, and they're being made in China right now.
And these bags really look like they're right out of the sea.
Yes.
Just where you were, and they have the pearls, and they have everything that really relates to you and the cover of the book.
Yes.
You were named on the best dressed list for many, many years. Did those things influence you as far as writing the book?
Yes, it does, because you know, and I'm hoping that I can come with things, you know, that women can wear that would be of the right cost, because it is difficult. Every place that I speak, the women are asking me, please design something that we can wear. I mean, we don't want skirts that are up to, you know, the middle of our leg, and I mean.
But also, do you address the idea for women of how to make up? How to do their makeup?
Well, I talk about it. I talk about aging and the different things. Like one of the chapters, I talk about tattoo, because, you know, and I mentioned this in one of my television interviews, that as we age, everything becomes more pale. Our lips, our eyebrows, and our eyeliners. So I've had tattoo on my eyebrows, my lips, because as I say, I love to wake up delicious, and an eyeliner. So, you know, that I look great. You know, I just feel like, it makes you feel like you look great.
And it's always there, isn't it?
It's always there. All I have to do is like put a lip gloss. I ask to do, you know, a rather natural color.
You talk about plastic surgery. Do you believe in that for women?
I do. But it all depends on the person, you know, like I know a lot of beautiful women that have never done anything, and they're just as beautiful. But I mean, if you have the desire to do something, do it, because, you know, the doctors all have a payment plan today. I mean, and everybody needs that. I mean, no matter what, you know, I talk about that. I talk about teeth.
Teeth, yes.
I'm really interested in teeth. You know, when I was young, I had my braces on my teeth. And fortunately, my orthodontist had a son who followed in his footsteps. And so I still go to him to wear a retainer. As we age, our teeth shift, and we need to, you know, protect our teeth.
So it's just a matter of, like, upkeep and upkeep and upkeep,
It's
really.
always upkeep.
What about health problems? You know, you talk about we get over 60, and now it's a time to live. It's a time to do all the things that we've always wanted to do, and you've addressed the makeup, and you've addressed the kind of sagging and things that like that. Then our health. Then what happens to the health?
Well, I have a chapter on that in the book by Dr. Jackson, and I just think it's very helpful. I think that as many natural things as we can do, we need to do.
Which, like, what do you suggest? What are some of the things you talk about?
Well, I take aloe vera. I mean, I'm not recommending anything for anyone.
I know, but just what you do.
That's what I do. I have aloe vera pills, and I find that they're just wonderful. And I do that, and I try to really take things that are natural. I take natural vitamins, vitamin E and C, and
if something, I was talking to a friend the other day, and she said, well, you know, she always takes, our mutual friend, she always takes care of herself. If something's wrong with her finger, she'll run to the doctor and have something done. Do you believe in, like, upkeep with doctors in that regard?
Well, not really, not unless we're really bad off. I mean, I go a long way, and I'm sure you do too, before I see the doctor. I mean, I do,
right.
you know, I try to do everything that I can for myself. And maybe some people like a chiropractor, some don't, but I do use a chiropractor.
So there's just certain little tips. Do you give these tips in the book?
Yes, I think, have you read it? I think I've given
read it. I read it, I did.
I think I did. I think I've given quite a few.
You know, I think that this picture with Givenchy is so great because it goes back to when you were a top hostess in Mexico and when you were on the best dress list. You did fashion shows in that, in your villa, and you had all the great designers come down. And did you learn a lot from being around them?
I think we always learn from everyone. I mean, I have a lot of, you know, like I talk about Eleanor Lambert in there, and
she was 100, wasn't she?
She was 100 when she died, and there's a photograph of me with her sitting on her bed there the day of her 100th birthday, and she was going to the office until 99, and that's what you have to do to be mentally alert.
That's what I was going to ask you, too, about continuing to work, because you talked about designing bags.
Yes.
And
also we're working on a product line, natural bath products.
So it all fits into the Aphrodite feel.
Yes,
of what
and
you're
my
doing.
children. You know, I have 7.
Yes.
And I have 13 grandchildren, and I have 2 great-grandchildren. And
was it hard for you then, because you're such a glamorous woman, to start admitting that you had all these kids and all these grandchildren and that you're over 60?
Well, look, I mean, what do you do? I mean, when your eldest daughter is getting near 60, I mean, what do you do? I mean, believe me, they have never let me hide one thing. I mean, with a family that large, they tell all.
Before we leave, what about the viewers who are watching who are over 60? Some of them are alone, and they're sitting there feeling sorry for themselves. What do you tell them to do?
Well,
what should they do?
I want them to read the chapters in there, because there are a lot of things available for us. You know, just don't stay at home. I mean, get out and do something. You know, do one of these volunteer programs. You know, that one lady in there that went away and she would do different projects in different cities in the summer, or go on a cruise. You know, there are a lot of things that you can do that are not just so mind-blowing in cost.
The volunteerism, I think, is really great, because you can work with younger children, you can go to the library. I think you talk about
but you can meet men too, darling.
Oh, that's the thing you didn't talk about. Talk about that.
Well, you can. I mean, there are many ways, and don't be shy about meeting these men.
I think that's a chapter, seduce or not to seduce.
Yes.
So tell us about that. Was one of the chapters.
Well, I think that, you know, that we all have an opportunity. I mean, the main thing is not to think of everyone as being a lover. I mean, that's a big mistake.
Good point.
The big thing, you know, to not think of, I have a lot of men friends that I go to dinner with, that I even take trips and we'll stay in, you know, different rooms or whatever. But I mean, a lot of men are just as lonely as we are.
And it really does, it gets you involved enough so that you care about how you look and what you're doing.
Yes, you really do. And I find if you just, you know, they know my age. I tell my age. I mean, what's the point of not? But I tell my age, and so I think that it's really important to just be honest and just, you know, to go out there, because, look, the men that don't care, they will go out with you. I mean, you know, the men that are not so, I mean, worried about the looks of it. I mean, I think that you can be glamorous whether you're older, younger, middle-aged, and it depends on the man. If he's immature, he's not going to deal with it, okay?
Right. He's not going to deal with Aphrodite and Me by Jeanette Longoria. And Jeanette, thank you for being our guest today.
Well, Joan, thank you. It's just so good seeing you here in California.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. I'm here with Michaela Watkins, who was raised in Boston. In fact, she stayed there so long, she graduated from Boston University.
Right.
She's an actress, and did you always want to act?
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
You did? Mm-hmm. Were you in the theater arts department there?
Well, I was. I was in the School for Fine Arts, which is now called the College of Fine Arts. They decided it was merited a college.
I see. but were you going to
Not
paint?
just a school. No. It was SFA, as it was, School of Fine Arts, was for painting, visual art, theater arts, and music.
Oh, they were all combined.
It's in
I
one
see.
building, but
I
we
see.
never saw them. We had our own floor, and we stayed far away from everybody else.
Where is that actually?
It's
On
right-
what street? Commonwealth?
Yes.
It is? Oh,
All of Boston University just kind of runs along Commonwealth Avenue.
And do they have their own building for the fine arts?
They do. It's nothing fancy, but a lot of black boxes in there, as well as a few nice, maybe the largest theater is about 100 seats. And then we have the Huntington Theater downtown Boston, which is our main stage.
You
and
use that?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Nice. It's a big house, isn't
Beautiful,
it?
big, beautiful old theater. Yeah.
What you said, we have a lot of black boxes. What does that mean?
Black boxes are just sort of these utilitarian spaces. They're undefined. They're just black boxes. They're painted black, and then people can come in and just fill them, do a set, do nothing. It's you can do any type of theater in there, avant-garde or,
I see. They have seating for that
monologues.
too? Or
Absolutely.
you put your own seating in?
Yeah, it's just smaller as opposed to, something that you would see at for example, what we have downtown, the Taper and
I see.
the Amundsen.
So you always wanted to act. So here you were at Boston U. When you got out, did you have a job?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
No, I was classically trained, and I was ready to do Shakespeare. I was ready to do Moliere, but I was not ready to get a job.
You were, because where were you going to do it?
Well, there's that
the AR.
natural migration where you just everybody goes to New York City, and that's where we all sort of moved.
Did you go there too? You
Absolutely.
went to New York?
Yes. By the time you start BU, there's usually about 70 people, and they weed it down. Either people leave or they let you go, and by the time you graduate, there's about 8 or 9 people in your class.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. And
So the cream comes to the top.
supposedly, yeah, but the cream of every crop comes to New York City.
Yeah, and they're all there, right? And you're against them all.
Exactly, and when you're in college, it's really nurturing, and you get the greatest roles you may play until you're 60, because they don't have 60-year-olds in our undergrad program, so we get to play it.
But what about your big break when you got to New York? Did you get a break there?
Yes and no. I was working with some great little theaters in the Village, and started to find my way there. And then I went on this kooky little road trip across the country just to get out of the city for out of the 105-degree weather. Ended up in Portland, Oregon, and was reunited with a couple of people from BU. Because here's the thing, when you come out of school, you're not prepared to really jump into the business. You know about the craft, but you really don't know about the business. When you can start in the Northwest, in Seattle and Portland, you really get to hone your work and become good. You get all the tools in college. Now you have the ability to a place to play.
We always forget that Oregon and Washington have such great theater. Cities.
Absolutely. In fact, some of the best actors I've ever worked with.
Are up there.
Absolutely. And it's dwindling. Unfortunately, they're not being able to take hold anymore. A lot of theaters are closing up there, sadly, because of the economy. It's sort of the arts are sometimes the first thing to go, as you know. So, but then
so you really you were really working then.
Making my living,
Making money
as an actress. I joined an improvisational group, a comedy improv group, and we would tour the country all the time, and that was really wonderful.
How did that
It's the only thing
happen?
you can do when you're right out of college.
Did they set you up in different venues across the country? I mean, did it start in Portland then?
It did. We had 5 really funny people and totally different types, which is, there's a big auditioning process. They'd have to get somebody who's not like anybody else in the group. Then we go and we tour colleges, and we worked with big corporations.
Really?
Yes, Starbucks, Leo Burnett, all these people would hire us to
do what?
Work with their employees, to sort of do to bring everybody together on the same page. Now, if, for example, if they brought a consultant in, they would say, have you considered doing improv? Why don't you work with this group? Because improv is about listening, and it's about working with everybody else. And if you are not listening to somebody else, you get to an idea that you never could have thought of by yourself.
Were these just in conference situations, or are they just regular corporate meetings?
Corporations would have retreats sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I wondered.
Yeah, and they would bring us down there, and we would sort of sit there in our lush hotel rooms and think, do they know we're just silly little comedians?
Or just barely out of college?
Exactly. We just make ha-ha funny. We don't know anything about this. So, but it was funny. I mean, people love to see their boss barking like a dog.
Is that what you made them do?
Sure. I mean, if that's what the scene called for, that's what they had to do.
Well, that breaks down the inhibitions, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And that was part of what you were supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
So
we were just having fun.
You were having fun. They were like terrified, right? Where did you go from there then?
So from there, a couple of my friends, who I said I reunited with a couple of BU folk, had moved to LA. One of them is Peter Page, who is now on the hit show Queer as Folk on Showtime. And
was he a stand-up? I mean, was he part of this comedy group?
He's just a phenomenal actor all around. We did regional theater up there as well.
As well.
Yes, so we were all equity and working up there. And but Peter came down first, and he got into in deep in the LA scene, did a lot of guest stars and a lot of shows that you've seen, and then he got his pilot and he was on his way. Krista Vernoff, who also went to Boston University with us, left acting, became a playwright, and then
but she was an actress too up there.
She was an actress and a really interesting, unique actress. Came down to LA and just sort of started writing and writing and writing. Wrote a Law and Order was the first thing she sold, and then she worked on Charmed for a really long time. And then she is now at Grey's Anatomy. She had written for Wonder Falls, and now she just sold a new pilot, which, and here's the full circle, Me, My Guitar, and Don Henley is her new play, which is so well written, and it's very autobiographical for her. It's 6 women, really strong archetypes, who no one's without fault. And it's about her life, really. These women in the 60s who lived at Venice Beach, and actually it's based on her father, who unfortunately, sadly, passed away 3 years ago. And it's about the events leading up to his death. He was diagnosed with cancer, and 2 weeks later, he'd passed. So he'd affected all these women in his life, and it's about these 6 women. Now, I would have to have, a clipboard and be able to draw you how everybody's related in her family because of the...
But that's how you actually got a role in this play, let's say, because
yes.
you started with Krista at BU, and then you were in Portland with her, and then did she bring you down to LA, or did you both come down the same time?
I came down. She said, Michaela. She said, you need to come down here. You really do. There's a need for funny women.
So is that what you started doing when you came down?
And I came down here, and I've been doing stand-up comedy here, and
in clubs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And what do you do? What do you do?
I do jokes. I make people laugh. And
do you write all your own material?
Absolutely. Yep.
You have to? Do you have to when you do that?
Yeah. No, people don't take a shine to it if you steal someone else's material.
but then you've done a lot of TV too, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I Without a Trace and Mismatch, Strong Medicine, Krista. This is the thing.
Great.
It's all who you know. Don't write anybody off, because Krista was an actress just like me, and then she got me a job on Charmed, which was nice.
Oh, you did?
She got me an audition. And,
and then you had to perform yourself.
Yes, I had to not disgrace myself for her, make her look bad.
But then you also did some other stage work with the group down here.
Yes, I joined a wonderful company here, avant-garde theater company here called Circle X Theater Company, which Circle X has got its name from at Ellis Island when people would come in off the boat.
Oh, because was it the X boat? Oh,
yes,
no, it wasn't.
If you got an X, if there was something wrong with you,
right,
and you were not fit for society. And for example, if you were sick or something like that, they put a circle around it. So we became Circle X, sort of the misfits of society.
I see.
And everybody is very unique and very talented there.
I hear they've really done great work. But Circle X isn't the group that's putting on Krista Vernoff's play, me, my guitar, and Don Henley?
They have helped us immensely.
Oh, they have?
Yes, they've helped us to get it off the ground, giving us rehearsal space, giving us lighting designer, giving us access to a set designer. But we're actually doing it 2,100 square feet.
Which is a fabulous black box. Tell me, 2,100 square feet is really a beautiful little theater. What kind of role do you play in that?
I play the central character. I play Leah. I play basically
Is it
Krista, if you
Krista?
will. Yeah.
It's Krista you play.
Yes, and she's taken some artistic liberty with the script, but not much. I mean, her family is really interesting. Like I said, there's not enough time in your show to really explain it, but it gets into it in the play. And
they were real hippies from what I know about the play.
Absolutely. And
real hippies with a naked wedding.
This is the thing with a naked wedding, and this is the thing about hippies in the 60s, is that who's the parent? You have these kids, and then the kids end up playing the role of the parent. It's a really funny play, and it's also really sad because it's interesting who connects with what character. Anybody who's read the play says, oh, I really like Janelle, the Janelle character who plays my sister, because she just gets away from it. She moved to New York, she's an actress in New York, and she really has stepped away from the insanity of this family. And but she's not without fault. Nobody is without fault. Even the mother, the woman who, Isis, the character who plays my character's mother, she is beautiful and strong and the most resourceful woman I know. However, she's a rageaholic. And it depends, choose your
choose your
weapon.
Whatever you want, whatever you want to be. But I think that's what makes it so interesting when 6 women are together on the stage, and it's well written, so they all coordinate. So tell me again the title and the writer, because we've come to the end of our time.
Oh, okay. It's called Me, My Guitar, and Don Henley, and it's written by Krista Vernoff.
And it's starring?
It's starring Michaela Watkins.
Oh, we're so happy.
Oh, and Kate Anthony, who also went to BU, is helping to produce it, and she'll be in it as well.
She's in it too. All you BU girls.
We did. We did we had a big audition process, or they did. I'm not producing it. I'm just in it. But they found really the most talented and perfect people they could for this. So
it must
not
be
a weak link in the bunch.
So great working together.
It is.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles today. Keep writing to 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017. And we'll see you next time on the Joan Quinn Profiles.